I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
.40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. .40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. where tonight we have the Area 51 Superspeedway Truck Series. Tonight at Talladega Superspeedway, it will be 75 laps, the scheduled distance, but as always, there will be 2 green-white checkered attempts, 2 fast pairs available, so we'll see if that fuel number changes over the course of tonight. And speaking of that fuel window, I was hearing in the 18 to 20 range, so we'll keep an eye and see if that comes into play or not this evening. But right now, drivers putting down their qualifying laps to get ready for this evening. And so yeah, so I've been a little bit out of the loop. It's been the Boomer show lately. Big thank you to he and Brandon for taking everything on the last couple of races. And so I'm looking as you guys are, and say we've had 3 different winners so far this season. Cody with the opener, David Overstreet at the second race after a big wreck that I may or may not have caused coming out of turn 4. Big apologies to all the drivers on that one. Rick Sanchez at Daytona and Gabe Butler at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So we're back here at Talladega again. This is where Cody won the season opener. And so with those results, Gabe currently in the points lead by 14 over Cody. And then Rick Sanchez, Everett Lane, Jim Brooks are the top 5 in the points. So right now, like I said, drivers putting their laps down for their qualifying positions. A really, really great car count tonight. Looks like in the 30 range, if I'm not mistaken. And the magic number for drivers tonight is going to be lap 28. The leader of that lap 28 will get the little extra prize money. So we'll see who's able to get those points led, and of course we also talked about the bonus points coming into effect now for leading a lap, leading the most laps. So being up front can be important here tonight as well. Got about a minute 30 left here, so still a bit of time here. And yes, I hope you all are doing well. And right now, like I said, right now of the qualifiers, we have 23 of the drivers, 24 now that have put a lap in. So again, I gotta say, a great car count, and I'm gonna be learning some of these drivers as well. Haven't been here. I've seen some new names, new faces, some returning names and faces as well that I'm really happy to see back on track. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what these guys all have in store for us this evening. I see one notable one that I'm very familiar with, so I'm curious to see if we see one of our most dedicated viewers pop in the chat. I won't spoil names as of yet because I don't want to put them on blast. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it looks like actually 30 drivers on the dot. It looks like in the server here tonight. 27 have taken time. Again, just shows how important it is for these drivers to put down those qualifying laps. And of course, as always, as you start rolling in here on the broadcast, feel free, if you got a favorite driver you're rooting for that you want to see, want updates on, let us know. I'll try to peek over the chat here and there, see who you're looking for, and we'll definitely get them a little extra TV time as well. So I've got no shame. If you want to see somebody, I want to find them for you. And with that, qualifying has just about completed. And we're going to switch sessions over now into the start of the race session. And it does look like 27 of our 30 trucks have put down a qualifying lap here. And I say again, with the new names, new faces, hopefully won't be butchering some names tonight as well. So bear with me as we get through some of these this evening. As let's go ahead and pull up that starting grid for tonight's event. As on pole position, it is going to be Dean Wilkinson in that number 55 truck. And it looks like it went to the 4th digit between he and Gabe Butler for that pole position. So great job to Dean. You got Keedy Engstrom in that 64 truck will be in 3rd. Next to him, Charles Johnson. Everett Lane there 5th. And then you got Vicente Guerrero, Jack Walls, Thomas Holder, Bob Fitzgerald, Les Levy are top 10. Behind them, you got Paul Witt and Eric Laurie, 11th and 12th. Running down the order, you then have Doug Webb in the 714 truck, 13th. Bud Steele next to him. Colton Knight, Hayden Davis, Adam Kilday, Gary Huffines, Jim Brooks, and Dale Rapp are top 20. Then you got Joshua Highball and one of the returning drivers I mentioned, at least for me, maybe he's missed or maybe he's made a few races recently. That is Ryan Decker. And then you got Mike Allen and Anthony Lane, 23rd and 24th. And then you got Doc Holliday, Robert Amaral, Cody Nagels, Joe Delavecchia, another returning name for me. And then you got David Fascholtz and Justin Davis will be our 30 trucks gridding this evening. Alright, so trucks just about to roll off here. Looks like we got all but 2 ready to roll. Alright, looks like we have all but 1 truck. I think Justin Davis may have had a hiccup, so looks like he's gonna either start from the pits or may not be on, but we're gonna get the field rolling here and get this thing underway. Alright, so right now field coming through 1 and 2. I can tell you Justin Davis is now on pit road. The one concern I have is he is far back in pit road, so he's going to spend a lot of time just driving through pit stalls to get onto pit exit, and so he's going to be probably a half a lap down by the time this thing kicks on. And then I'm going to do a little quick test for myself because I've been trying to get some things to work. We're going to see if they cooperate for me, and not currently. So we're gonna be playing with that more through the evening. So hopefully I'll get that all straightened out. So we'll say we'll do one more test run before we go green. And there is that lovely truck. Not 100% working right with the updated paint scheme. I think that might be some of what's going on for us tonight. So yeah, unfortunately, paint schemes may not be 100% accurate, but either way, we're going to see lots of trucks here. Again, 29 trucks on the track right now. 30 will be taking the field. Just to say, of course, the 10 truck has to wait till things officially go green, and that is exactly what's going to do. And don't stress about the trucks. They're about to pop up and update and look nice and pretty as we are underway. Oh, big stack up in the back, actually. We're going to have a caution right off the kick here. Well, actually, at the moment, staying green, but Anthony Lang getting the worst end of that one. And so we actually do stay green. I'm looking for the 10 truck. He has not got moving yet. So let's go back right now off the initial start here. Try to see what exactly happened. You can see the stack up already occurring. And it looked like, I think that was the 52 of Dale Rapp. Maybe just got a little antsy. And then that's where the accordion comes into play. And yeah, unfortunately, the 81 just wrong place, wrong time. That loops him around. I think maybe the 77 involved as well. So now we'll jump back to the front of the field here as we are officially underway. And you see Vicente Guerrero, he is rolling to the back now. Caution is out. And I think it was something towards the back once more. I think Joe Delavecchia involved in that incident. So yeah, so we're under quick caution here tonight. I can tell you too, unfortunately, the 10 truck's still stuck on pit road. So still something going wrong with that truck. Let's double check the 25, David Fascholtz. And looks okay. And then the 77 and the 81, those are those two. So it's a good sigh of relief for these two guys because now they can get back to the main pack. And then I mentioned Joe Delavecchia. Actually looks like he may have actually already disconnected. So go back and see if we can find out what happened to Joe. And it's already something going on there for him. Let's go a little further back more. Yeah, it looks like So I mean, actually, yeah, he pulled off the racing surface and went ahead and towed, but for whatever reason, iRacing went ahead and still threw that as a yellow, even though he was completely off the racing surface. So, like I said, unfortunate, but again, maybe kind of a good news, bad news situation. So we'll see. I can tell you the 10 truck is now back out on track, so that's great news for Justin. Always want to see him on track and doing what he can. I think should put him just one lap down, if I'm not mistaken. I'll wait for him. Actually, I'm showing 2 down, but hopefully if he was on track at the time, he might be able to get a wave here. So we'll wait and see. Now we're going to see an early strategy. Do these guys want to just kind of brim these trucks off with fuel? Dean thought about it. Gabe said, nope, I'm going to stay out here. So say we're going to have a little bit of a switch over here with 2 of the boot knockers now going to take those 2 spots. All right, so while we have a quick heal, I'm going to do some more testing here. We're going to see if driver car pictures are coming up correctly, and I can confirm that they are indeed not. They're just doing the default schemes, and I'm not sure why, unfortunately, but that is what we've got for the moment. So all best plans don't always go to plan. So what I can tell you is the top 13 trucks stayed out. That's from Gabe Butler, our current leader, back to Cody Nagels in that number 16 truck. And then from 14th on back, Dean Wilkinson, all the way back to, it looks like it'll be Anthony Lane. Those trucks all going ahead and hit pit road. And looking at the pit stop time as well, a little bit of damage it looks like for some of these trucks. I'd say you can see the 81. He had about a 25-second pit stop. Truck looks good, though. I think he'll be all right there. Adam Kilday, I think, might just be sitting on pit road here. Now he's rolling. But for him, it was about almost a minute stopped on pit road. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye and see for that side of things as well. And then Justin Davis, like I mentioned, cycling back up in order. And it looks like, yeah, we'll be still stuck 2 down. However, is the only truck down 1 lap down here at the moment. And you're going to see these trucks look funny again. One more second. Trying one last ditch effort. Try to get these paint schemes working correctly for everybody. Now, oh, it was going, then it stopped going. Well, we're going to make do with what we have. That's part of technology, and sometimes things go great. Sometimes they don't go so great. But we're going to have, for the most part, as most accurate as we can paint schemes. And yeah, unfortunately, it's like I said, some of the overlay stuff just isn't quite working correctly. But either way, we've still got, let's see, we'll still get the info we need. So yeah, so right now, like I said, the top 13 trucks did not pit under that yellow. From 14th Les Levy down to Anthony Lane, they pitted on the first time around, and then drivers topping off are going to include these drivers here from Keedy Engstrom back to Robert Amaral. So some drivers, a little different fuel strategy. Again, mentioned 18 to 20 laps on fuel is the window. I don't think this does anything for anybody trying to cut a pit stop out of it, so I don't see anything changing there. So we'll just have to keep an eye on things as it goes, as everybody starts to get reorganized here. And again, with those drivers that topped off on the one to go from Keedy Engstrom on back, pretty much all these trucks are going to have to line up single file here. That's just the way it works in iRacing. So you'll see a chunk of them doubled up, and then you're going to see a chunk as well just staying single here. So that is going to say, for those that maybe aren't sure why, that is exactly just the way iRacing has it set up. All right, trucks coming back through to the start tri-oval here into the restart zone. It's going to be Gabe Butler control truck on the inside lane. Teammate Everett Lane to his outside. Jack Walls pushing the inside. And then you got Thomas Holder pushing that outside lane. And pretty good push on that second lane there. The 11 looks like he's got the 24 with a solid nose ahead here going into 1. But won't be enough to clear as we start to build back up speed here through turn 2. Got Bud Steele peeking up on that third lane. He's got some help behind him, and that is Ryan Decker. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That's not Decker Fried Chicken, so I'm a little concerned about the business side of things. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Hopefully get some updates on that one. But yeah, good to see Ryan back on track. Though always enjoy having him. He was one of those guys going for the titles last season as well, as he and Bud Steele trying to work their way forward. But right now, just the two of them on the third lane. Gabe Butler, Everett Lane, though, they are controlling those front 2 spots here, that top and middle lane. Through the field, it looks like everybody is safely in the pack, so no concerns there for anybody that's dropped off losing the draft. You can see, again, Justin Davis, he's kind of just staying a little further back, played a little extra safe. Actually, as I say that, Robert Amaral, I'm not sure if I missed something or because he's dropped way off the pace. So actually leaves now Bob Fitzgerald now, the last truck in this lead pack here with Dean Wilkinson. But right now, like I said, may not be the worst place to be because here comes the third lane. You got the 62 of Les Levy starting to lead that charge. He's got Kitty Engstrom right behind him. Charles Johnson joining that party as well. So yeah, so we're about to get 3x3, probably about 6 rows deep it looks like. So this will be, again, we'll see which lane gets the right pushes. And of course, we talked about it week in, week out, where the temperatures, kind of who's able to manage those temps best to stay locked on as best they can. That's always a big part of this racing, is to try to be able to kind of shove that guy as best you can, but eventually you're going to start to get hot. So we'll see how that goes. And do need to mention, you saw that we've got kind of a change of position there. You got Thomas Holder now leading the inside lane. That's opened up for Paul Witt on that middle lane, as he's getting a great push from Vicente Guerrero and that 14 truck right behind him. Yeah, same. Vicente's probably feeling pretty good about his chances, because right behind Vince, a little bit of a bobble there for the 24. They're trying to get reorganized. I was going to say, is he's feeling good because right behind him is that 16 truck of Cody Nagels. We know how well those two work together. So looking, I'll say, at some point I expect to see them try to work some magic here. And I'm honestly not sure on the Paul Witt side. Again, still learning kind of who's with what groups and everything like that. Sometimes might not be in a formal Discord either. So possibly Paul Witt working with the Boot Knockers, possibly working with Vince and with Cody. I'll have to dig a little deeper on that one, but right now we're gonna kind of just keep an eye on the racing as it goes. As that third lane is definitely fizzled back out. Now it's back to pretty much 2x2. Right now, the kind of the odd man out there is that 62 we just mentioned a moment ago. Les Levy, Kitty Engstrom right behind him. But you can still see some guys are really wanting to get up there. You just saw Josh Highball. He's going to jump up top there. And so he's going to try to get help from behind. I believe that is going to be the 13 of Mike Allen. And they're going to try to see if they can work some magic there. And I say Les Levy's like, he's thinking about it. No, he's going to go bottom. The 13 was thinking the exact same thing. And unfortunately, that's going to leave Josh Highball out to dry in that number 101 truck. Doing some digging, and I can tell you, for drivers that are in the same Discord, I can tell you that you've got the 11 of Thomas Holder. He is over with the boot knockers, so he is right there with those guys that he's working with. A little bit of movement there in the mid pack there. Looks like everybody's able to get back okay. I don't see Paul Witt in there, so possibly Paul Witt working with those guys I talked about, the 14 and 16, because you see right now they are working that third lane now, really well organized here. And for a moment, it looked like Keedy was looking at maybe the fourth lane around that number 62 of Les Levy. Stays back in that third lane though. However, we're 3x3. I'm looking up the field here a little forward, and they're going to come up to the 77 truck, and there you go. Again, the respect being given. Robert Amaral, again, this is a track you can run really pretty much flat foot here down the apron as well. So he said, you know what, I'm just going to roll the apron here. You guys go on by. Should be able to merge safely in the backstretch. Hopefully catch the draft. That's going to be a big one for him as well here. Needs to stay in this draft, because actually with everything that's gone on, I do need to update. Justin Davis is just one lap down now. So if he can slot up right here, I think he's going to be safe here and be able to hang on to that draft. But now his competition is further up the field here. That's that kind of got that teal and purple and black machine, that 10 truck of Justin Davis. Currently the first truck one down, but also is in the thick of this lead pack battle. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a little bit nervous, and right there I'm nervous for the 11 and 24, but they get it lined up nicely and stay well organized. But you can see that stack things up. So I'm watching Vince and Cody again. Momentum starting to shift back to that third lane. They've gained a couple of truck lengths already, but right now it definitely feels more kind of a bottom feeding type of a race at the moment. But again, though, we haven't even got to the first round of green flag pit stops yet, so a lot's going to change. As you see there, look at the 48 truck though, Ryan Decker. He wants to get up to the front, and he knows that those two behind him are going to be great pushers to get there. So we'll see if Ryan can work any magic up in that third lane with Vince. And as I say that, that's going to change everything, because now poor Everett Lane, he is lonely, as Gabe's going to jump up to give him some draft there so he doesn't drop like a rock. But this is going to give a lot of momentum to that outside lane being led by Charles Johnson. And there you go. That's the move now to get Charles to the front of the middle lane. At the moment, nobody's been able to shake Thomas Holder off that top spot for a little while now. But now you can see Gabe's going to give that 9 a big, big push. The 9 is clear. If and when he takes the spot, or is Gabe going to maybe try to go if he clears himself? And there's the answer. Yes, he is. He's going to go to the inside. He's going to jump inside of the 9 truck. That's getting the 24 a chance to push the 9. 11 back to the 88 once more. And that third lane, you got the 48 now just a nose ahead, being pushed by the 14, by the 16. And those three all look to be locked onto each other. So it's not just a 2-truck draft. That was a 3-truck draft right there. And that was enough. Look at Ryan Decker, takes the point here, goes top to middle, and now goes to the bottom lane as they get tight there entering turn 1. But it's going to now be Ryan Decker leading the way here at Talladega. And looking through the field, I can tell you Robert Amaral has held on to the draft. He's the last truck in that main pack. Again, he's going to be fighting with Justin Davis in that 10 truck. But right now, like I said, Justin is up ahead of him for the Lucky Dog battle. But again, the way it works in iRacing, if you're involved in the incident, even if it's just driving through the grass to avoid contact, it will actually take that Lucky Dog away from you, and it will go to the next vehicle in line. So there's risk and reward of being the first truck, but being in that main pack. So that's what these guys are going to have to be careful about. You see Gabe now, he's going to charge to the front. He's going to take over that top spot in front of Brian Decker, as now Charles is going to lead that middle lane here with help from Everett Lane in that 24 truck. One guy up front we haven't talked a lot about right now early on is that 13 right as I focus on him a little bit of door-to-door contact with the 16. That's Mike Allen on the 13 truck. He is up about 15 spots. He is one of those that did pit as well. So he has moved up from his pit stop up into that top 10 or so. Charles Johnson, the other one in the 9 truck. Those are the furthest up that have made a pit stop in this race. Again, they'll maybe be able to net, I would say, maybe an extra lap at most, just again due to how early that caution was. And then a little further back there, Adam Kilday is the second of those that topped off on that one to go as well. So Adam as well in that main pack here right behind that number 13. And then Les Levy, we've mentioned him a little bit earlier there as well. And then you got, I think these guys a little further back, these are the fuel savers right now. They're just saying, you guys do your magic, we're going to roll. And that's going to be Colton Knight in that 014. Jim Brooks is right there. Dale Rapp is right in that group as well. So I think these guys are kind of going fuel save at the moment here, not really pushing the issue at the moment and just trying to save until it's really time to go. And like I said, I mean, that fuel window is going to probably open, I'd say, in about 3 laps. That 18 to 20 window with the caution, I would say probably gains them about a lap. So we'll say maybe gets them closer to that 19 to 20 lap at this point, as we just started lap 17 as the 11. Oh, a little bit of close contact there, the 14 and the 11. And man, these guys are close quarter to racing right now. And it's just everybody's just jumping lanes that they want to be in. And really the one that's lived on the inside lane here has been Jack Walls. He's been the pusher. He's now the 3rd truck on the inside line, but he's just been pretty much living here on this yellow line. Same with Eric Laurie right behind him in that 071, as well as Doug Webb in the 714. So these guys are nicely organized, those 3 trucks, the 071, the 714, as well as the 10, because those are trucks nose to tail. They're on the inside lane, and I believe they're all working together here. So right now, if you're the Bootknocker team, you've got Gabe leading the inside lane, and then you got 3 more trucks there as well. They can well organize for the pits, as we are going to go 4 wide for a moment. Oh, man, that's close. We got a little bit of contact further back. I think Keaty Engstrom got kind of shoved up a little bit, but it looks like everybody stays pointing in the right direction. But definitely a close call there. As oh, man, the 14 also tried to get down, but wasn't room. Now Cody's able to roll out of it, get him a spot. And this is everybody starting to position themselves. They want to get to the bottom. They know pit stops are looming, and they are getting a little bit nervous about it, I think, just based on the moves that we've seen made here early on. So far, though, still no takers. I don't think we'll see any strategy of any short pit or anything like that. I don't think it's going to really gain anything. It just really depends on the numbers you have. But like I said, I'm really liking the Bootknockers right now, where they are organized on the inside lane. Because again, you've got the 88 there, you got the 11 now right there as well, the 24, the 071, the 714, the 10. So they can pretty much get their whole team in together here together, and that's going to be extremely beneficial for them. And this actually might be an opportunity where they do decide, hey, let's actually go in a lap early, maybe try to not call it, try to kind of pull a sneak move here. I mean, some will probably jump with them, but I would rather pit with a calmer group than having to pit with another 20 trucks. So we'll see if anybody blinks, and the answer is no. Still nobody blinking here. We're going to start lap number 20 now. And again, this is right at the edge of that window we talked about, the 18 to 20 without a caution. We're on starting lap number 20 now with that one yellow we had at the very beginning. But you can see, though, how much things are opening up now in the outside lane. I think Ryan Decker is just going to do all he can and try to push Charles Johnson to the lead here to try to clear the 2 of them. Charles is going to clear, and you can see now there's some big movement there on the inside. Big stack of kind of midfield there around Bud Steele. So far, everybody's able to get sorted, but that was a big moment. Didn't see exactly how it occurred. That's really shaking up the running order, and you can see just by this, we've got a lot of trucks about to hit pit road here. And I think some are going to get held out here, unfortunately. We'll see if anybody's going to keep going. And yeah, we do have a handful coming in together. Big hustle in here for the 80 at 48. Oh, the 48 loses it. Too much rear brake, it looks like. Because you got a number of trucks that are just trying to take avoiding action. But so far, everybody's at least able to get onto pit road. Now, got to make sure everybody hits their stall safely. And then we'll see where they all come out together here. See a lot of left side tires going on. Now let's jump up towards the pack that haven't pitted yet. I expect to see them in this time. Mike Allen's going to lead this group. But again, I'm looking in the outside lane, though. You've got 3 trucks. Oh, got one up in the outside wall. Who was that? Was that? I think it was Bob Fitzgerald that took a shot there. Because right now he's the last one in this pack. So he's going to have to hit pit road now. Oh, we got trouble there. Do you see the 10 truck? Oh, he's into the outside wall. Stayed pointed straight, so we'll probably stay green. But 2 incidents there just over the last little bit there. And so, unfortunately, the 10 with a bit of a shot there. as well as we just saw there with the '08. I'll try to see if I can find the '08's incident. It's going to be hard to find in kind of in between everything that was going on there. So at the moment, we'll jump back current again here. And so these are the 7 that did pit during the yellow, probably did a lot of fuel saving. And so these guys are just running it out as far as they can. Also looking at pit stop times at the moment, knock on wood, no pit road penalties. Everybody in about the 8 to 11 second window here on pit lane. So now we're just waiting to see these final, looks like 7 trucks hit pit road, which, yeah, as I say, I expect to see them all in now. And so now, again, you can see everybody kind of just trying to space themselves out, try to avoid any contact. And it looks like they're able to get into pit road clean. Now it's the hunt for trying to find that pit stall. All right, so saw one there have to overshot a little bit. It looks like he's going to have to reverse a little bit. We're going to jump back up front because we have a, what's that, a 7 truck breakaway here, and that's going to be, you've got Charles, Cody, Gabe there, Jack Walls is in there, Adam Kilday, Everett Lane, and Vicente Guerrero. Right now, these 3 trucks have a solid breakaway. However, in running like they are right now, 3x3 here, I'm not sure if this is going to be enough for them to get away with the rest of the field here, because if the rest of the field reorganizes, I think that's going to pull them back into it. But the problem is the rest of the field hasn't got there yet. Very, very spaced out right now. So waiting to see kind of the difference. And now you can see they have definitely reorganized a fair chunk here. Now it's just the 88 and the 24 there on the outside lane together. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, right now I can tell you that it was Les Levy was the furthest truck up. Now it's going to switch to Paul Witt, Eric Glory. They're going to slide down in front of him. Dean Wilkinson right there as well. And this is where now these guys need to really organize. But I think this group has started to already do that organization. And so this is going to be a tough row now for that second pack to catch these guys, because already 6 seconds gap. So somewhere getting in and out of pit road, hitting pit stalls, these guys just nailed it to a T. I can tell you, unfortunately, there were, it appears to be a couple pit road penalties. Just looking now over at the notes, I see Hayden Davis had a 44-second stop, as well as Bud Steele. That's usually kind of a telltale of that speeding on entry. So those 2 trucks having to get that served. And so that's going to start to shake this field up, really spread people out. Waiting to see. Yeah, so right now we actually only have 24 trucks on lead lap. And the problem for this truck here in the 3 is he's off on his own. So he is getting just a lot of time picked up on him in a very short amount of time as well. So unfortunately, Bob Fitzgerald is also 1 down. The first truck at the moment 1 down. But again, no draft for that 08 either. So yeah, so right now he's going to have to find some friends. But up front, lap time wise, it was about a 1/10 of a second quicker for Charles Johnson over Paul Witt, who's leading the second pack here. But you can see the organization, though, from Paul Witt back to Gary Huffines here. And that's exactly what you need to be doing here to have a chance to try to chase these guys down. So I'll be keeping an eye on the intervals. You can see Gabe and Everett are working that inside line as hard as they can. A little surprised they're not just kind of cruising here. I feel like when you've got a breakaway like this, might be worth just taking it easy. But a lot of fighting right now is that these top 2 trucks. And again, we talked about the bonus points. And actually, you know what it probably is? I'm looking at the lap counter. We're up to lap 26, and again, completion of 28. That's going to be the driver who's ahead at the lead. They'll get the bonus. So right now, it looks like it'd be between the 9 and the 85, but I'm looking a little bit behind. I see a little gap forming here. Watch the 16 to 14. Watch for that late charge possibly. And again, it's the completion of lap 28. So it'll be when this clicks over from 20 to 29. That's going to be the lap where the leader at that lap will be able to get the bonus. So we'll see right now, but I think that's why we're seeing this aggression from the 88 and the 24, trying to keep these 2 in check. But like I said, I'm watching Cody and Vicente. I think we're going to see something from them. And I can tell you it was about a 1/10 of a second quicker last time by for Paul Witt over Charles Johnson. This time by, it is a 1/10 of a second slower. So unfortunately, they've undid what they had gained that previous lap. So right now pretty equal, right, kind of back and forth between this top 7 and that second pack. And what I haven't mentioned is there's also a third pack right here being led by Colton Knight. He's got Ryan Deckers with him, Keedy Engstrom, Doug Webb, and Anthony Lane. And so say those trucks are a further about 7-8 seconds off of Gary Huffines. So that's the gap from them to this truck right there. And then, like I mentioned, a lot of single trucks here. And so here you go. This is the start of lap 28. Look at the gap there. Watch the 16. Watch the 14. Expect to see a big charge from them. If the 10 truck, if he can build up some momentum, he could also play a role. He can get up to his teammates and try to help them out. But I'm watching Cody and Vince. I think they're going to try to make a big move here and try to pick up that big head of steam here as they come out of 3 and 4. All right, here you go. There's the momentum. We'll see. There's the jump to the top. You can see, again, they're going to try to keep it as tightly pinched as they can. Vince is going to have a fairly cool motor, so he's going to be able to push aggressively here. Right now, it's showing Charles just a nose ahead. I'll try to take a closer look at the line, see who's going to grab it. At the moment, still showing Charles, and it will be Charles by about a nose there. And now they got to get organized here because they are coming up on traffic. That's the 3 truck. And you can see it almost looked like everybody kind of dropped anchor there for a second. You see everybody's trying to make room, get around the 3, and then they can settle back in here and get organized. And it looks like they'll just get that done. And I think that's also a really good break for Justin Davis because I think he was on the edge of losing that draft. I think he'll be able to tag in now. And so now after all is said and done, everybody starts to kind of get readjusted here. And Gabe and Everett still going to try to fight this top side. I really thought they'd back it down and just start trying to save some fuel in those trucks. But yeah, right now though, and something must have changed up front. Yeah, here's the answer. Something did change up front. These guys decided, all right, the single file didn't work. Let's try doubling up here. See if the pace picks up this way. So changing strategies in the second pack. Now you've got Paul Witt and Mike Allen leading that pack here. So we'll see what the lap times look like once they start to build up. And yeah, Quabi, you're exactly right. I think the aggression that they were pushing there to get to try to be that first truck one down, or try to be the first truck to lead lap 38, I think that just showed the pace that those guys had because, yeah, they ran a really, really fast lap that previous one in doing that pushing. So it just shows. But again, I mean, they can only do it so far before that truck starts to overheat. So but yeah, right now we've got 3 very separate groups. Like I said, you got the top 7 all together. You got to go about 8 seconds now, unfortunately, back to the second pack, which is starting to go back to a single file line for the most part. And then you got to go another 8 seconds back to this group here with Ryan Decker over Doug Webb. And same situation, they don't have enough trucks. They need to stay single file. And then we just saw the 3 truck. He got put down a lap, so he is now actually the first truck one down. Bob Fitzgerald, he is now going to be the second truck one down in the 08. And then you have Hayden Davis, I believe, is also still one down if my timing and scoring is accurate. He's right there with Bud Steele, Robert Amaral as well. And I think, unfortunately for Justin Davis, that contact we saw and then had to go the extra lap around, yes, that's dropped him back to 2 laps down in that 10 truck. So, yeah, right now, fairly spread out, and that's always a great opportunity here to be able to show off the trucks and the paint schemes. Well, when the paint schemes are working correctly, which it does not appear that they're going to. So you'll see the paint schemes, though, because they're right here. They're on the trucks. And right now on the top spot is that 16 of Cody Nagels. He is up 26 positions from where he started, or more didn't start tonight, because I think he did not put a qualifying lap in. So right now he is the top truck at the moment. Right behind him is that number 9 of Charles Johnson in that number 9 Hydro Flask. And then you got Adam Kilday there in the Shinedown Chevrolet in the number 85 in third. Jack Walls there in the number 83 Chevy. He has got the Delaware Blue Hens on that truck. He always likes yellow. Usually it's been Pennzoil. Now he's got the Blue Hens. As you see, the 9's going to jump up top. I don't think he's going to have any takers. We got the Budweiser Chevy of Vicente Guerrero there on the inside lane in the number 14. Gabe Butler, our outside front row driver there in the Guinness machine. He is in 6th position. And then Everett Lane, the last truck in this first pack, but 7th overall, is in the number 7 spot in that number 24. And then we jump back again. Now it's grown to about 9 seconds now, and that is now Mike Allen in that number 13, one of the Silver Fox Racing drivers. Then you got Les Levy right behind him with that Maker's Mark Chevrolet. Paul Witt in that 429 truck right there. So he's got, looks like admin box sponsorship on the side of his Toyota. And then, of course, it's not green, but it's Eric Laurie. It's going to have John Deere on it. He sits 11th. Dean Wilkinson, our pole sitter tonight, is in the 55 Cheerwine truck in the 12th spot. Jim Brooks right behind him in the number 51 Area 51 truck is in 13th. Thomas Holder, we saw him up front early. Pit stop didn't quite go to plan. He's got a bit of a throwback scheme on his. Definitely enjoying that one. He is in the 14th spot in his Chevrolet. They mentioned David Faschholz in the number 25 truck in the 15th position. As it looks to be a, trying to catch the Dan Bongino show. Bongino? I apologize. I haven't watched the show, so I don't know, but I'm sure I butchered one of them. So he sits 14th, right behind him, 25 to the 52. You got Dale Rapp there, another one of the Silver Fox Racing drivers there. Joshua Highbaugh in the 101 right there as well, another Silver Fox Racing driver in the 17th position. And then you've got one more Silver Fox driver, and that is Gary Huffines in that 00 Toyota. So then we go once more, another about 7-8 seconds back, and then we're going to switch over to Doug Webb in that 714 Chevrolet, as he is currently in the 19th position. Colton Knight right behind him in that 014 truck. He is down 5 spots where he started in the 20th position. Keith Engstrom, unfortunately, was up front early. Just things did not go to plan during his pit stop cycle. So he sits in the 21st spot in that 64 Wrangler machine. And then again, I'm blaming the fact that it's not Caitlin Fried Chicken, is Ryan Decker in that number 48 truck, as he is currently 22nd, right where he qualified. And then we got Anthony Lane here in that number 81 truck, another Silver Fox driver there. Then we start switching over to trucks that are a lap or more down, starting off with Doc Holliday in that number 3 Advanced Sim Racing on the side of his. Then we go over to Bob Fitzgerald in the 08 machine. I say if it's got something to do with air or space, it's on Bob's truck. He's got U.S. Air Force. He's got SpaceX on there. I can't see as many as there are because they're going too fast around for me to catch all of them. But then you got Hayden Davis in that number 19 there, Miller High Life truck. Bud Steele right behind him in the Navy truck there in the number 6. Robert Amaral in the 77 truck there. He is another one of the Silver Fox drivers, as he sits 28th. And then we've talked about Justin Davis just not having the night he's hoping for so far, as he sits in the 29th truck, or 29th spot in that number 10 truck. Unfortunately, 2 laps down at the moment. All right, that is the field that is on track. You see Charles Johnson, he's the lone man on the outside, but hasn't been able to find somewhere to sneak in here in line yet. Again, they all pitted around lap number 20. That means they're going to be pitting here again shortly, because we're starting lap 37, approaching 38 next time around. And this time there is no yellow to give them that extra distance, so I would expect to see these trucks probably pit in about 2 laps or so. And at this point, with the separation, there's going to probably need to just be these fields all pitting together. The only potential... No, I think the fields are too small. I was going to say maybe some drivers could try to sneak out and break away from the other guys. As you can see, the 9's going to slot in front of the 3 there. So I think pretty much you're going to see, I would say, these top 7 all likely going to have to come in together. And then you're going to see the same thing here with this group being led by Les Levy. I think you're going to see, I would say, if not all of them, probably about half. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And Quabi, I can answer that one if you're you. Boomer is trying to sell his house, so if you have any buyers, send them over to Boomer. He needs to sell that house so they can buy a new one. I think the new one's even got option for fiber internet, if I'm not mistaken. So from one equine family to another, so go help Boomer out. His wife also works with horses, is what I was getting at there. But yeah, so right now, though, something I missed, I'm not sure, because Charles Johnson, he's fallen about 8/10 off here. That's not what you want to see. The only silver lining he's got is he's got help behind in the 3 truck, but then he's also going to be right in that pit stop window here, so he's going to probably have to hustle a little bit on pit entry to try to regain on these guys. as again we just crossed the halfway point now, so 37 laps to go, as they're also starting to catch a couple of trucks here. They're going to catch the 19, the 6, and the 77 here in the next couple of laps, because they're down there kind of about to enter 3, and here comes that pack right there. So there's also some strategy about how early you want to pit, where you can kind of get the ideal draft where you steal some draft and get a lot of speed. We'll see if maybe we see that come into play here, but I'm waiting to see, do we see the duck off? And yep, here you go, the whole field coming in. This is where Charles needs to be aggressive and try to gain a lot of time. Saw a lot of movement there in the middle, a little bit of contact, 83 and 24. Somehow, all those trucks stayed pointing in the right direction. We're going to have to wait and see if there's any penalties on this one. But, man, that was some really, really close calls there. So we'll keep an eye on that one as the field's starting to hit pit road. Ooh, Everett, oh, yeah, Everett just wasn't quite lined up here. He's got to sorted. That's going to cost him this main pack. And it is a split decision here for the second pack. A handful of them did come in. These drivers did stay out. Mike Allen, Dale Rapp, Josh Heibaugh, Gary Huffines, Dean Wilkinson. All these drivers opt in and go a little further. And I mean, you can see on the drivers we just talked about, that's pretty much the Silver Fox drivers here that are trying to go that extra lap here. So we'll keep an eye on that as the field's getting back underway here for those that did just pit. And it is, like I said, unfortunate for Everett Lane. And, just to add insult to injury, actually wound up setting 4 tires on that truck. So, yeah, he's going to fall back to that second pack, unfortunately. Here comes Dean doing Dean pit entries as he is flirting with that inside wall on that entry, as he's going to bring Dale Rapp, Mike Allen, and David Faschholz with him. And that is going to leave these two here going even further. Joshua Heibaugh, Gary Huffines. Sometimes I like going long. This one makes me nervous because it's just the 2 trucks. However, they are going to steal some draft here. They're going to pick up a little bit of a tow off of Colton Knight. So that's going to help their speed out a little bit. But again, when it's just 2 trucks, I feel like that's a little too risky for me. But we'll wait and see how everything cycles around. I can tell you, it looks like those top trucks that did pit, this is going to really slow down the pace there. But it looks like those top couple trucks have all stayed together other than the 24. And, man, these two are getting great fuel mileage here. That 101 and the 00, they continue to stay out here as we're going to come across here for 34 laps to go. And so right now we got pretty much most of the field on the tail end of the lead lap, basically, just due to these trucks continuing on. Here's the lead pack that I told you about that did already complete their pit stops. It comes out with Adam Kilday now in the top spot. And then this is what I mentioned for the other group is, unfortunate for Everett Lane, lost that main group, but he's going to pick up Paul Witt here, and I think this is going to be the organization here that they're going to try to pull off to see if they can work some magic. There's the 6 and the 19 trucks there on pit road, Hayden Davis and Bud Steele. And like I said, Charles Johnson right now, you can see they're going to jump actually around Cody Nagels. Cody's going to fall back here probably by strategy. And so, yeah, so now what's happened is the separation from the pit stop cycle. You've got this group here that, unfortunately, Everett dropped from the top group, but he's, like I said, he's Paul Witt, Jim Brooks, Les Levy, Eric Laurie, and Dean Wilkinson. They've been able to get themselves away from these guys here of Dale Rapp, David Faschholz, Mike Allen there, Doug Webb. So this is now, again, the field starting to spread out even further as the top 2 here have pitted now. Those are the guys that went further than anybody. And it looks like they're going to come out right together. So we'll have to see where they cycle out in relation to the other drivers. But again, though, they went a little further than the rest that previous time. And I agree. All homes should have a sim rig room. That should be a requirement. So, but yeah. So no, right now, once again, so the top 7 breakaway now is a top 6 breakaway. Everett Lane's leading the second pack here with the 429 of Paul Witt. And so these guys have about 7 trucks, if I'm not mistaken here. No, we'll make that 6 trucks. Counting's hard. And so what you're seeing right here is the 429 pushed the 24 as far as he could, said, okay, I'm getting too hot. They're going to switch over. Now Jim is going to push Paul. It looks like Everett's going to drop to the back here. And I think they're going to probably just have to kind of rinse and repeat here to try to do something to reel in the gap. Realistically, unfortunately, I don't see it happening short of a yellow, because right now it's about 13, 14 seconds from Adam to Paul. And I don't see that that lead pack losing that much time to one another. And then the other job for them, though, is to stay aggressive here, because you've also now broken away from the Joshua Heibaugh, Gary Huffines. They're about to pick up Dale Rapp there, David Faschholz, Mike Allen. So if they can stay away from those guys, again, they want to be in the lead pack. At the same time, though, right now, you've got 7th through 12th right now. So, I mean, this is still a good result in my mind with a 30-truck field. So you still have one more pit stop to go. Mistakes can still happen. And so this is where you want to just minimize any potential mistakes you can have. And so, again, you see the timing and scoring on the left here. I'm waiting for it to update on my side. And, yeah, so right now we have up to the 014 of Colton Knight. He is the last truck on the lead lap. He's entering turn number 3 as the leaders are kind of about to hit turn 3. So he's also by himself. So we're going to add him to that lap down truck list here shortly. And then you got Bob Fitzgerald has gone one down in the 08. Thomas Holder, I believe this might be putting Thomas 2 down if I'm not mistaken here. And yeah, indeed it does. So actually right now the only truck 1 down is Bob Fitzgerald and soon to be Colton Knight. And what I'm watching right now is this almost looks to be a race of who either doesn't want to lead, or maybe it's the same thing. They're just being aggressive here and then kind of switching over once the driver gets hot. But I'm almost getting the vibe here of these guys are trying to maybe save a little bit of fuel just to make sure that they can maybe shorten that pit stop a teeny bit. So, but pace-wise, though, it's still solid. They're running 50-51 last time for Adam. The second pack led by Paul Witt was a 50-71, so again, about 2/10 slower. They were quicker the previous lap, but unfortunately this one just wasn't able to quite get the same number there. And so what you'll probably see is, yeah, I already see now that they're just going to try to get all the speed they can. And so I think you'll see them try to grab Bud Steele, just add another one to the list there. 25 is on pit road here. I don't believe this will be a scheduled stop for the 25 truck, as again, this is outside the fuel window here for them to make it to the end. So unfortunately, I think an unscheduled stop there for that 25. And once more, it's going to put more trucks here down multiple laps. However, we got time. Let's draw off some paint schemes and drivers here again. And I'm going to see if maybe we're going to play with the buttons real quick. That's always a dangerous thing. But we're going to see if I can get these car pictures to come up correctly. And we'll see. We might got something here. So you've got Adam Kilday here in that number 85 truck, as he is now our current leader. Then right behind him, you've got Jack Walls in that number 83. Charles Johnson in third in the number 9 truck. And yep, that one doesn't show correctly. Apologies. Cody Nagels in the number 16. So yeah, it didn't quite work perfectly. So unfortunately, my thought that a few were working, but not quite there. We got Cody Nagels though in 4th. Vicente Guerrero though in the 14th. He is sitting in the top 5 in the 5th position. Then you got Gabe Butler here sitting in the 6th spot, right behind. And then I'll say, sorry, those are the top 6 on that breakaway from the rest of the field. Then we jump back to this next group. Now Jim Brooks leading it in 7th. He's got in the 51. 62 right behind him of Les Levy. Mentioned that Maker's Mark Chevrolet. Eric Laurie there in the 9th spot in that 071 John Deere. And Dean Wilkinson rounds out our top 10 at the moment in the number 55 Cheerwine truck. Then Paul Witt, we saw him up front pushing a little earlier. It looks like they've kind of reorganized once more. He sits in 11th. Everett Lane again, unfortunately, fell off the main pack during that pit stop cycle. So now he sits in 12th. And then again, now got to go about 8 seconds back to these guys here. Gary Huffines in that 00. Then we jump from him over to Dale Rapp in the number 52. Then after Dale, you've got the 13 of Mike Allen. And then in the 16th spot is Joshua Heibaugh in that 101 truck. Then we'll go a little further back. You got the 17th position, Ryan Decker there in the number 48. And that's a dangerous combo there. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe this ain't Ghost and Energy Drink. Someone's have to do the research for me. Then you got Sour Patch for Kids. So very colorful truck. I'd say it's going to definitely catch some eyes there. But I'm a little nervous about that combo if that's what I think it is. I might be wrong. I'm old. But right now, Ryan in 17th. You got Doug Webb here in the 18th position right with him as well. And then Anthony Lane in the 81 is in the 19th spot. Petey Engstrom in the number 20 spot there in the 64. And then we switch over to Colton Knight, who I just mentioned has been put that lap down, so is currently only two trucks one lap down, and that is that 014, as well as this truck right there, the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. Then we unfortunately go to trucks that I believe are two down. One is right here, Thomas Holder in the 11, as well as Robert Amaral in 77. I can tell you for Thomas, it was a pit penalty. So he had a 45-second pit stop on the previous stop. So there's Robert there in 24th. Hayden Davis right there as well, 25th. And Bud Steele in the 26th position. And then Justin Davis there, he is with that number 48 truck in 27th. David Faschholz there in the 25th position. Or sorry, 28th position in number 25. And Doc Holliday looks like has retired from the event this evening. So that's now 2 out, the 3 and the 052, which now leaves us 28 trucks left in the field. And we're going to have, it looks like 24 to go at the line, still outside the pit window. So we'll wait and see when these drivers blink, and do they all come in together, or do we see any strategy calls coming in? And Hondo, who do I got for tonight's race? I'm looking, if we stay green, I am going to lean towards, I got to choose two drivers because it's hard to say who's going to push who, but if we stay green, I'm probably putting my guess between the 16 and the 14. Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero. I think one of those two will be able to pull off the win. I just think that the organization that they have, I've seen, like I saw the charge that they had going for that bonus, the bonus lap there, and didn't quite get there, but it was just the two of them, and they had a really strong charge. So I think the 16 or the 14 are my picks if we stay green. If we get a caution, I mean, we throw all the numbers to the wind. But right now, what's happening, though, is Adam Kilday, I mean, he's burning the fuel for everybody else. And that's the thing, is right now you're going to need teammates, you're going to need friends. So you might just have to try to figure out who you can work with, even if they're not a formal teammate. And so I could see Jack Wells, Charles Johnson. They go really well together. They say not official teammates, but they've been racing with each other for years. Adam Kilday, I could see him working with Gabe Butler for sure. Again, same thing, not really official teammates, but see them working well together. But yeah, I mean, if other drivers get lapped or get thrown into this pack here, it'll change everything out. I mean, I'd even think about right now, I'm looking at Thomas Holder. He is a teammate with the 11 truck on Discord, so I think that Thomas could also play a really good role in this one as well. So yeah, there's a lot that can happen, and again, there's no rules about teammates not being able to push somebody if they're a lap or more down. I mean, if you can't win, you want to have a teammate win. That's just kind of how these things go. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of options here. But before we get to that, though, these guys got to nail that final stop, and that window's going to open, I would say, in about 4 laps. So right now they've got a pretty good gap to the next trucks here. As they come out of turn 2, the next pack is going into turn 3, and that's these three right here. Petey Engstrom there, the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, and then the 81 of Anthony Lane. So still a lot of time there. Haven't really been looking at the gaps between the trucks, because right now it's been pretty steady. Everybody's running about mid-50, 50.5s or so. And right now, like I said, it's been holding pretty steady for Les Levy now leading this pack. And then it's about the same thing, about another 8 seconds to this group here, which same thing. They've been running kind of mid to upper 50-second brackets. So really everybody's holding pretty station right now. Like I said, everybody knows there's one more stop to go. And I'm afraid to do commentator's curse, so I don't want to say certain things, but I'll bite my tongue for right now. But yeah, to me though, the job number one is they gotta nail pit stops. I mean, I think that's the first thing we saw. Unfortunately, it spit one of them out from the 7 to the 6. So now these guys got to be on the top of their game. They've had 2 great pit stops. The first pit stop, I mean, they broke away huge there. So we'll see if they can do the same thing here. Bud Steele, he's going to pit a little early to me in this number 6 truck. It's just inside the pit window, I feel like. So he's going to take all 4, it looks like, actually. But yeah, so unfortunately, same thing for Bud. Probably not the night he was looking for. But we'll see where he cycles out. Could wind up with some friends and maybe try to get an opportunity. He can maybe try to help Jack. You never know with these things. Yeah, we'll see after the pit stop happens, but in my mind, if you're the top 6, you do not want a yellow because you're thinking, man, if I only have to try to beat 5 trucks, I'm going for it. Like, I don't want to have to bring another 15 trucks into this mix. So, yeah, I'm liking what I have up front here. I don't want to force the issue yet. And I think that's going to be the next question is when do you try to make those moves to try to get to the front? Because you know somebody's going to make a move at some point, so you got to either try to anticipate theirs or even maybe just kind of get that extra draft off of them. So there's a lot of strategy going in these to try to figure out how to make it happen. So that's what we're going to see is we're down to 19 to go. So I'm going to say this time by fuel, and this should safely be open. Should be able to pit with 18 to go up from what I've heard, no dramas. But again, though, then there's the green-white checkered potential. So do these guys go as far as they can in the potential of a caution coming out, and then maybe they don't have to come in and top off on fuel? So that'll be the other question is how long or short do we see these pit stops for these top 6 trucks here? So we'll see strategy-wise. I see a couple drivers further back hitting pit road. Ryan Decker and Doug Webb are in, along with Justin Davis. I can tell you actually Bud Steele's still on pit road, so I'm not sure if he's officially calling it for the night or not, but it looks like a lengthy stop. And this is what you don't want to see. And it's a combo of what you don't want to see. I'm going to say that's way too hot an entry for Adam Kilday. And I'm afraid that's just from him leading that whole time. He didn't have the fuel mileage that those other guys did, so they're able to go an extra lap. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably going to be a stop and hold for the for the 85 car. Probably about a 40-second stop. So that 6 truck number I told you about, that might be dropping to 5, unfortunately. And I am completely wrong because he is already rolling at about 9.6 second pit stop. Well done, Adam, but he doesn't have any drafting help exiting pit road, so he was aggressive on the pit road. We'll see if that's enough to maybe save him. But right now, see, okay, here we go. And one more, again, just one by themselves. This is not what you want to do. Oh, too much rear brake for Jack Walls. He's going to catch the inside wall. It's going to cost him a bunch of time to get a gear going again. Now has to make the tough decision. Do I take a faster pair or not? Because you can see there's left front damage to that truck. So unfortunately, these angles never show it. You can see it there a little bit on the left front there. But again, also here comes the second pack. This is a bigger group here. This is kind of what I would expect to see and what I expected to see from the front group. And so they're all coming in together. So this is interesting to me. I did not see any single pit stops happening like we just saw there. So I expect these guys will have to pit this time. I would have to assume for Adam and for Jack that they had no choice but to pit at that point, just because of their field numbers. And yeah, sure enough, here you go. Here's the rest of them. And here you go. These guys are making moves. Gabe is going to hustle it in there. Can he get it woed down? I think he got in there nice and clean. I'm going to call that good for the 88. So he's actually going to gain a little bit of track position there on that pit stop entry here. So, all right, so here's everybody starting to hit their stalls. This is, again, no mistakes here. Don't want to overslide. Don't want to have to reverse it. So far, so good. Again, looks like left side tires are the choice there for all these drivers. And it looks like everybody's about to roll off nice and organized. So looks like no changes there. Vicente's going to try to... Nope, he's not. He's going to roll out of it. I have to say he might be trying to fight Charles for that spot, but he's going to stay in line. As now we're going to start to see the other drivers. The one I'm really curious about is this guy right here, is Adam Kilday. I don't know if he's going to have enough here because, again, he's just been running on his own here as these guys are starting to build up speed. The one hope that Adam could have is there are a number of trucks that are just coming up to them. If he can get close enough to them, it's including Colton Knight here. If he can get a little bit of love, the 48 trucks right there, but Steele's there. But at this point, I think the gap is just too much, unfortunately. So I think Adam's out of the running here. Jack Wall's now out of the running there as well. And so, yeah, so if we don't get a caution right now, I'm going to say advantage 100% is going to those top 4, which right now you can see Gabe and Charles, they're trying to break away. I don't think they'll be able to, but it's not going to be for a lack of effort here. So we'll see if maybe they can steal Keedy onto this draft here. They could still actually try to make something happen, but you can see now the organization is gotten into 14-16 together. They're going to be pushing that 11 of Thomas Holder. And you can see, yeah, so Keedy's going to kind of be the ladder, like I like to call it, in between the two front spots. So they're going to come up to Keedy. Keedy's just said, yep, I know. Let me roll out of the way here. I just want to pick up your draft. So that is going to bring us now 4 drivers in this main pack to have a chance to win this race. So, and again, that's also, again, without a caution. If caution comes out, again, throw everything out the window. It's who knows. But right now, though, it is going to be the 88 leading the 9. Here comes the 14, 16. They're going to try to take the momentum, go to that top side, and that'll be now the first 4 cars here, 4 trucks here are the top 4 in position. And the 11 truck, like I mentioned, is, I believe, just 1 lap down. Nope, actually, it looks like he's going to be 2 down in the 11 truck. But again, though, is in the same Discord with the 88, so I could see them working together as they start to, looks like, reorganize with Vicente and with Cody. And yeah, Cody's going to roll out of it, let Vicente slot back in. So the other thing is, based on the positioning order I'm looking at right now, I'm going to say it looks, if nothing changes, I'm going to say it looks like Cody's going to try to see if he can give Vince the push to get a win here in this one tonight. But like I said, then you have the question marks. Who's Keedy going to work with? I say I don't know if he's formally associated with any team, but at 64, he'll be a great pusher to have somewhere. Same thing at 25, David Faschholz. If he has somebody he can work with, I mean, that's going to be all the better for whoever tries to make that move. So this is where you got to start doing some sales pitching on this one and try to figure out, hey, you want to, if we make a move, you want to come with us. Good luck on doing that during the race and not letting everybody else know what's going on around you. But yeah, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Let's jump over to Adam Kilday. He's still on his own, unfortunately. This is just, unfortunately, really painful for Adam because at this point he's just thinking, man, what do I have to do? And then we go back to Les Levy. He has picked up a solid group of trucks. You can see Jack Walls is in that pack as well. But what you don't see in that pack, unfortunately, of those that pitted, again, we talk about drivers that get knocked out of it. Jim Brooks in the 51 truck, he got knocked out of that pack, it looks like, during the pit stop cycle. So now he's back in the 12th, and he is out of that pack as well. So, like I said, just the way it's been pit stops tonight, that's been the name of the game, is nailing pit stops, getting in and out cleanly. And just unfortunately, it's been catching a lot of drivers here tonight. As you can see, Les Levy, he's just about to pick up Adam. So this will be, I mean, this is going to be a fight now for the top 5. I say Adams, I would assume, is just, yeah, he's going to do exactly what I thought he would. Roll top, let these guys go on by, and then just try to slot in the draft and make sure he doesn't lose them. But, I mean, you've got a battle here. I mean, this is from 5th to 11th. So, I mean, you've got a top 5. You got a top 10 on the line. And you can see right there what Eric and what Les were doing there. They jumped up top there just for a moment to try to give the 85 truck just a little bit of draft to steal. That way he could at least get back up to speed and not fall off these guys. And so now he's able to hang in tow with these guys. And so his next truck for position is the 83. But then again, we talked about the Lucky Dog fight right now. And I'm trying to see who it's going to be. Is at the moment, I think it is going to be Keedy Angstrom actually in that 64 truck. So he right now is in a really nice spot because he's pretty much clear and far ahead, the only lap truck one down in this main pack. The ones at risk, though, are going to be this next pack here with Doug Webb, Gary Huffines. Those are going to be the guys that are going to be next up to get put one down. So, but yeah, so right now I think it's going to be a quote-unquote calm before the storm, I guess you could call, because it's going to be just, I think, strategy, biding your time. Do you make a move, and if so, when? What I expect, like I said, I mean, I expect nothing less. We're going to see a 16-14 make a move. We don't know who the 64 will work with. We don't know who the 25 will work with. But from where I'm sitting, if Charles stays behind the 88, the 11 will stay with the 9 as well. If Charles tries to make a move, then I think the 11 will stay with the 88. So, like I said, there's going to be a lot of jockeying. I have seen it before where Charles and Gabe have worked really well together, and they said, you know what, this is going to be my best chance for a good result for myself, so I'm just going to push them. So, yeah, so I'll say we're 10 to go. We're going to see the strategy unfold here. But, again, I don't think we're going to see any real kind of – nobody's going to show their hand until I'm going to say maybe 2 or 3 to go. I don't see anybody making a move before 5 to go by any means because, again, they've got over 13 seconds to the next truck. And you don't want to make a big move and make a mistake and bring the rest of the field with it. And sometimes that even might mean just waiting till the final lap. That way you know, hey, white flag's out. There's not going to be a caution. As long as we don't wreck each other, these other guys aren't going to come into this fight. So, but again, though, at some point, you're going to get this. The second pack is going to get antsy. They're going to start to try to fight with each other, try to say, hey, I want to be in the top 5. I don't want to finish in 11th spot. So you're going to try to get every point you can, and that's what we're seeing right now. Adam Kilday, he's recovered. He's trying to lead that group again, get back to that top 5 where he was earlier. Les Levy's going to try to go for it. Eric Laurie, of course, going to go for it as well. Jack Walls. So all these guys here, Dean Wilkinson, I think, just biding his time. Paul Witt. So there's a number of trucks here that are vying for a number of spots. I mean, again, 5th place to 11th place, that's a lot of points difference in a very short, in a pretty reduced season. So, and I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to try to jinx it, as that was really close there between the 071 and the 62. I think Eric had to roll out of it to avoid making contact with Les there. But yeah, right now this is definitely by far the busiest group on the track right now. Again, because at this point they know this is their fight as things stand. If something happens, it'll change. Then yeah, they'll take it. But right now this is one of those. All right, well, if I'm going to finish this pack, I want to be the first one of this pack. So I would expect to see likely Ryan Decker would work with Jack Walls, but Steele would work with Jack Walls. So Jack's got an opportunity still to try and see if he can pull off the top 5. Unfortunately, after losing that draft on that final pit stop. Same thing with Adam Kilday. Up front, nice and calm, because again, they don't want to bring the rest of the field into this one. Hondo, I saw you put your money on Gabe there. I know Quabi mentioned that Jack was going to go for it. Unfortunately, like I said, we lost Jack, so like I said, that's going to leave that the 88, the 9, the 14, and the 16. And we know the 14 and 16, they're going to make a move. It's when, it's where, and who goes with them. Those are going to be the big questions for the last portion of this race. And then we'll see how the fight ends up here. It'll be fun to see. Same thing here. We're going to see between Les, Adam, Eric, Jack, Everett, Paul, and Dean, who's going to be able to get the top spot from those guys. As things run, Jim's pretty much cemented here. Looks like in the 12th spot because he's got about 8 seconds to these 2 trucks, Josh Heibaugh and Mike Allen. And they've got about 3 seconds and actually closing to Gary Huffines and Doug Webb for position. So we might have a battle here between about the 13th, 14th, and 15th, 16th positions. So there are a couple spots there out for battle. So yeah, so we'll kind of have to wait and see on that side of things. And then for Keedy, he's saying if there's going to be a wreck, please make it before the 1 to go, because I would love to get back in the lead lap and have a chance at this thing. So you never want to root for any troubles, but Keedy, he may not be rooting for it, but he'd be like, oh, darn, that's unfortunate. So we'll keep an eye on that 64 truck. But up front, like I said, right now, still the 88 and the 9. And the big thing, too, here is we're 5 to go. You got to keep your temperatures in check if you're a pushing truck. So if you're Charles and you're pretty much planning on pushing Gabe to the end, if you're the 16 truck of Cody Nagels and you're planning on doing that, you got to try to keep those temperatures in check. That way you can get everything you can get on that last lap or so. Because you pretty much, their goal is to stay latched onto you and just push like there's no tomorrow. And you do see Vince starting to lay off just a little bit, because again, that's going to be the goal here, is to build that momentum up and make that charge. So we'll see when he decides to kind of blink and go. Up front here, same thing. These guys still going after it here. Jack Walls has found his way to the front of that group now in that 83, as he and the 62 side by side. 85 pushing the 83. But again, though, this is where now if the leaders are watching this, they get nervous because they don't want to see this side-by-side racing. They want to see nice, calm, single-file racing. But that is not what these guys are going to do, because they want to get everything they can. So they still got about 3 more laps. They just want to get to that white flag here. So if they can go about 2.5 more clean laps, no drama, then the leaders will breathe a sigh of relief before then getting ready for business. All right, here we go. At the line, 3 to go. Look at the gap being built here by Vince. You know the guys the guys in front are watching it, And so what will happen here is at some point, again, we're going to see the 16-14. They're going to lock on. Vince is going to try to make the big charge with Cody. They'll pretty much be in communication where it's, okay, I'm moving up now. And they'll both, even while still connected, they'll kind of change lanes. They'll stay locked onto each other as best they can. And that's going to be their move here to try to see if they can get this win. And then my suspicion will be it's going to be up to Charles here. Does he try to jump in front and slow that momentum down and maybe see if he can get them to pick him up? Or is he thinking, again, my best bet for a good result is going to be to just push that 88 truck and try to keep them in front of him? So that's what we're going to be watching here. Next time by, we are 2 to go here at the line. Again, it's got to go one more clean lap before we can call this official. And behind them, this is a gaggle because, again, these guys got to go one more lap as well. So it is not said and done with because, again, this is 5th through 11th here, and you're going to want to get 5th if you can. So, I mean, these guys are going to be going after it tooth and nail, and like I said, leaders, they don't want to be seeing this. And look at the drop back right now. Vince and Cody they're going to go for a huge charge here through 3 and 4 and for that final lap here. And I think that's what we're seeing possibly for that 11 as well, as I see him laying back a little bit. So, yeah, so this is all coming to a head here as we come through 4. Just got to get through that tri-oval, and then we will see the white flag, and this will be the final lap if they can get through here clean without anybody else behind having dramas. And looks like that will be the case as we are 1 to go here. Gabe leading the way there. Charles Johnson behind him. Now watch the 16 and the 14. What can they do? What kind of a run are they going to get here through 1 and 2? And then down the backstretch as we are on the final half lap here at Talladega. And yeah, here's your answer. Charles is locked on the 88's bumper. 11 truck is starting to get some. Here comes the momentum from the 16 and the 14. They're going to try to get to the outside lane. Thomas Holder now, he's going to probably try to get to the back of the 9 truck. So we'll keep an eye on those guys, and we'll see, does Gabe react? Maybe he tries to jump in front of him or not. And there goes Charles. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Here comes Charles, though, on the outside. He's going to try to lead that charge we just talked about. Gabe's going to take another shot here down the front stretch through the tri-oval, but at the line, the move is going to be Charles Johnson getting the win out of turn number 4, able to jump up, block the momentum, as it will be Charles over Gabe, over Vince, and Cody with the 4th position. And then the battle for that last spot there. Let's go back. We'll watch the charge here to the end for these guys, and we'll go ahead and show where those guys all finished here for that 5th through 11th. And right now you see Eric Laurie just completely locked onto that rear bumper of Les Levy. And you can see all the jockeying for position there, as it will be Les Levy getting that spot. And it looks like Eric Laurie over Jack Walls, Paul Witt, and Adam Kilday, Everett Lane are top 10. So we'll jump back live as the 9 truck hits to the start-finish line to go ahead and celebrate. And he's going to keep going. He wants to do another lap too, so he had fuel to spare. It looks like he's just going to brag about it. But what we will do here is, while we watch him loop around, is let's get those final finishing results up, as it will be Charles Johnson over Gabe Butler and Vicente Guerrero. Cody Nagels, Les Levy there, the top 5. And then we mentioned that fight there with Les. He was able to jump ahead of Eric Laurie, Jack Walls, Paul Witt, Adam Kilday, and Everett Lane in the top 10. And then Dean Wilkinson, 11th. And then Jim Brooks actually just able to hang on to that 12th spot. You can see the intervals there. Joshua Highbaugh was within about 2 seconds, and look how tight those guys were too. Gary Huffines, Mike Allen, Doug Webb, all of those trucks within about 0.4 of a second of one another as well. Keaty Engstrom did not get the caution he was hoping for. He winds up 1 down in 17th. Dale Rapp there in the 18th spot. And we'll continue running down the order there. Colton Knight in 19th. Anthony Lane 20th. They got Thomas Holder, Ryan Decker. These guys all 2 or more down. Hayden Davis, Justin Davis, Robert Amaral, David Fascholtz, Bob Fitzgerald, Bud Steele. And then, unfortunately, some early retirements there as well, you see, for Doc Holliday and Joe Dellavecchia. All right, so with that, let's go hunt down some drivers to chat with. And we are going to lead off with that number 14 truck here of Vicente Guerrero. See if I can find him and chase him down. As my cat's looking for him too, as he yells in the background. Where's our boy Vince at? I don't see him yet. So we're going to go out of order a little bit here. And hopefully we'll be able to get him in here. Make sure I'm not just lost. Nope, I'm not lost. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll jump order a little bit here. So we're actually going to switch a little bit around to our runner-up on this one. That is going to be then the 88 of Gabe Butler. So we're going to drag Gabe on in over here. We're going out of order, Gabe, but start second, finish second, but nothing else happened during the race. Name of the game, I feel like tonight's pit stops. I mean, it seemed like that was the first stop. You kind of dropped a whole chunk of drivers, and then each time after that, you kind of lost one more. Unfortunately, Everett obviously was one of those. And then at the end there, you're kind of, I'm guessing, between a rock and a hard place, just not knowing if Charles is going to stay with you, what the run is going to look like for Vince and Cody. You got 2 other lap trucks in there. I mean, is it just one of those, like, I'm just going to take the bottom lane and see where it lines up there? I mean, how do you manage that at the end?
I mean, we were thinking all of everything you said just there, and I had Thomas, even though he was 2 laps down, he was staying up there to help me, and we were just going to see how it played out at the end, and Charles made the really good time move there to pull out in time, and I think Vince and Thomas had a bit of contact, which pulled Thomas off me a little bit. But I mean, we'll take P2.
Yeah, and I mean, was it for you tonight? Was it just basically no mistakes on pit road? Because especially once you saw the separation you guys got after the first stop, was that one of those, like, man, if we stay green, we can try to run away with this thing?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, all of us had pretty good pit stops, but like you said, Everett and Thomas got a little bit unfortunate there on the next ones. But we were able to, we were able to break away. I think we ended up, maybe 10 seconds ahead of Les there in P5. But pit stops are definitely key tonight, man.
I was saying, I saw, was it left side tires for you every stops? I saw pretty much every time I peeked, I think I was seeing left sides. Was there any times where maybe you tried fuel only at a track like Talladega, or was it one of those like lefts? You might as well do less because it's not going to take any extra time and it's not going to hurt you any extra.
The first pit stop, we didn't take any as a team, and I felt like I was really spinning coming out of the pit road there. And then for the remainder of the race, we took lefts. And the only reason I take lefts at Dega is to help you get out of the pits, the actual pit box itself. And you just really have to be careful on the throttle. You can't gun it, and I gunned it a couple of times. My last stop was my best one. I was able to get it in there pretty quick and get out without spinning the tires.
Yeah, I was saying, we saw you jump to the front there, and then then it's like, well, you're going to be kind of at the mercy of the draft there at the end. And like I said, yeah, just unfortunately, unfortunately, I say Charles made a great move to jump to the outside. And then, of course, obviously the 11 truck not quite able to get back to give you any shots there enough at the end. But I mean, again, I'm looking at the stats, 5 races so far. You've had 4 of them in the top 5 now, and all 5 in the top 10. And on the bonus point side of things, you've got 13 to the next closest being 7. So So you're picking up the points where you can, and as even if it's not a win, you're still right up front there. So I feel like that's probably everything. Maybe not everything going to plan, but getting everything you can out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole key with these races is to try and be as consistent as possible. And I mean, if you win, it's a bonus. So be it. So it was it was a lot of fun tonight. It was a good race.
Well, sir, it was a great run. It's always fun seeing you and being able to chat with you. But we're going to let you, before we let you go, though, of course, always got to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that podium this evening?
Yeah, big shout out to the team, especially Thomas there at the end. Even though he was 2 laps down, he stuck up there with me to try and help me. And of course, we had David in the house tonight with us, and Doug, and of course Everett and Eric. You know, great bunch of guys. Always kind of fun strategizing, and that's the fun part of this. And of course, Area 51 and all the admins for all they do. It's a great league. It's a fun league. And of course, you guys up in the booth, man. I don't know how exciting or how boring that race was. It's kind of hard to commentate, I would imagine, or broadcast when the cars get that spread out and try and keep your mind focused. But we really appreciate you guys. You do a fantastic job.
I mean, I say it's just as the strategy comes into play, and I mean, I say if you saw what you were seeing in the second pack there, coming those last couple laps, you'd probably be kind of biting your nails, thinking, "Ah, man, I don't know if we're gonna get to that white flag lap," because they were going after it from about 5th to 11th. So yeah, there's a lot of different battles going on throughout the course of this one tonight.
Yeah, I was just waiting for that, green white checker to come out, but luckily it didn't. So we were able to snag a P2, so we're very happy with that.
All right, well, great job again, Gabe. Look forward to chatting with you again soon, sir.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, so unfortunately, I haven't been able to scout a Vicente, so I'm not sure if we'll get a chance to chat with him. I was hoping we would. Say Vince always a fun one to chat with there, but started in 6th, finishes in 3rd, and had a really good charge there to the end. Just unfortunately, I said it. Gabe mentioned, I say the 11 truck was trying to help out the 88, and I say it looked like there's just a little bit of contact between he and the 14 there. And I say, was it enough to slow down the momentum of the 14? It's hard to say, but yeah, still, I mean, a really, really good run for Vince, and it was kind of what we talked about. It looked like he and Cody were going to try to lock on together. It looked like kind of what we just talked about, that they would get together, and this time Vince was going to be the beneficiary of the push, if you will, from Cody, and just unfortunately didn't quite pan out, but does still get a podium this evening. And so now we got to jump 2 spots forward, because we're all sorts of out of order here, and we'll double check and say maybe be able to get some extra chats, but we're going to jump over to this number 9 truck of Charles Johnson. Made the right move at the right time, able to jump in front. I was nervous about it because you knew they had a head of steam, but it was just one of those ones. Are they going to be able to kind of jump around you in time to make the move to the top there? But you're able to get there just in time and get the momentum right, and able to grab the win here tonight.
Yeah, I tell you, Gail, I was watching the whole thing in the rearview mirror, and I seen that Thomas and Vincent got together a little bit there, and I knew that broke his momentum. And so I said I wasn't going to move. I was going to stay behind Gabe, and I was like, okay, that's my opportunity, because it slowed them down enough. They wasn't going to I wasn't going to get run over by them, And if that was the case, I never would have jumped up there. But it turns out it was the right move. They barely even got to me at the start-finish line, so worked out great.
And obviously, it took a lot to even get to that point in the race. And I mentioned to Gabe where it was pit strategy tonight, making not just the strategy, but almost actually more just executing, getting in and out of pit road well, hitting your stall well, because every stop you would lose a couple of trucks. It seemed like, especially the first stop where you guys had a big breakaway, and then you lost, I think it was the 24 truck, and then the next stop you lost the 85 and the 83, and so at that point then there's 4 lead lap trucks and then a couple lappers here and there, and so yeah, at that point are you kind of looking to say, okay, who do I think maybe would work with me, or I mean, what's your, like, what do you see on that side of things when you get to those closing stages?
Yeah, so I had one car spin out in front of me, one truck spin out in front of me there on pit road entrance, which kind of got me behind the 8-ball. But what I did is I got very aggressive on the very next pit stop. They were a couple thousand yards ahead of me, the pack was, and I was able to catch up to them on that next pit stop and come out with them. And then from then on, it was just racing with those guys. We were when we came out, I think we were like 10 seconds ahead of the next pack. So we just got single file and ran and swapped out when one car was overheating. They would go the back, we'd move the front, and then the very last pit stop, it was just a group of us went together, and I think we lost 2 or 3 cars in that pit stop. So we ended up with 4 or 5 cars there at the end. But I want to say this, that was a really good race. Obviously I haven't seen everything till I go back and watch it, everything that went on during the race, but uh, one caution the entire race, and that's the kind of racing we're looking for in Area 51. So congratulations to all the drivers out there for putting on a good show for Green White Checker TV and all the fans that watch Area 51. I think that was kudos to all the drivers.
No, you guys did a really good job. Obviously, I'll say the initial hiccup on the start, and then from there on, I mean, caution free. It's I mean, with 30 trucks, I'd say it was a really, really good job by all of you. So I say you get to be happy as a driver and an admin, I feel like, tonight, Charles. So before we let you go, though, as always, definitely want to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that win this evening, sir?
No, just want to say thanks to all my teammates for coming out and running with me. And I really enjoy running with those guys, enjoy running with the group of drivers we have. I think we got some awesome drivers out there. And if we settle down and do this every race and just show a little patience and get through some green flag pit stops, we can have some awesome races because we got some awesome drivers in this league. So, and thanks to you guys for putting on a hell of a broadcast every week. Gael, really, really do appreciate that.
I appreciate it, sir. It means a lot. So go enjoy this one, sir, and look forward to seeing you on track again here soon.
You bet, man. Talk to you later.
All right, that is our race winner in that number 9 truck of Charles Johnson. I'm doing one last little spy over to see, and unfortunately, I don't think he's going to hop on, it looks like, for the interview tonight. So, unfortunately, but again, great job by Vicente. Like I said, I'm sure not the way he wanted to finish that one. We saw the timing that he and Cody worked to that lap 28 move, and they definitely had like I said, they adjusted, I think, and tried to make the move again, and just obviously didn't quite work out, especially with that contact. So, I'm sure not what they're looking for, and that's definitely, I'm sure, a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow. But still, though, a really, really great run for he and Cody. Like I said, I mean, the top 4 trucks that were able to break away from the field, a great job by them. Just unfortunately, Jack Walls, Adam Kilday, they pitted by themselves, and that's what cost them. I think had they known that they were both short on fuel, had they pitted together, it might be a different story. We might have 2 more trucks going for that win there at the end. So. That is it for us this evening. I do want to thank everybody that does watch and supports us here at Green White Checker TV. Big thank you. I say Hondo, always fun seeing you on there. Quabi always as well. Hate you weren't on the track tonight, but glad you're able to peek in over here. We will be back on Tuesday night for the IndyCar series, and then we're going to have about a week off or so again with a longer 14-race season. Just going to kind of have a couple of off weeks here and there to spread the season out to go kind of through the end of the year, kind of towards the end of October. So we'll have a couple nights off, but check it out, maybe some fun races or something like that. So keep an eye on the Area 51 Discord. But other than that, as always, until next time, take care, stay safe, and have a good night.